Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror films. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your co-hostess with the satanic fucking mostest, Drusilla Adeline. And we are joined this week by a very special guest. Josh, who the hell is in the recording ether with us today?
She is the founder of the Salem Horror Fest and the creative director of Cinema Salem. And in my mind, the mayor of Salem, I think. It's the fabulous Kay Lynch. Hi, Kay.
So many people would be mad if that were true. Actually, it's really funny. Christopher Lee's character in this movie, Alan Driscoll. So the mayor, Kim, who's been our mayor for decades now, she's Kim Driscoll. So... she may be a descendant.
He must be a relation. Yeah. I actually have a lot of friends who live in Salem, and they're like witchy people, of course, and it sounds like there's a lot of drama. Like there should be a soap opera about the Salem witch drama, but not like a Sabrina type show, like a Melrose Place type show.
Well,
yeah.
The Real Housewives did do a season here.
Did they really?
It was last season because what's her name? Kyle, who was in Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Some of her,
yeah.
There was some drama. I didn't watch it, but there's some drama with her that overlapped with the film in Salem.
That sounds great. But listeners, yes, Kay does live in Salem. She's a Salem girl. And we'll be talking about a very Salem-y movie today. But first... Kay, what's been up? How are you? Have you been watching anything cool? Reading anything cool? Give us the download.
Yeah, well, it's that exciting time of year where you kind of get to look back and be like, oh, what did I watch this year? What did I read this year? What did I like?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have left to see? So I've just been kind of reevaluating that, and with the holidays, we've been showing some really cool films at the cinema. We've done Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. We're doing The Thin Man and The Apartment and Gremlins, so it's a good mix, and it's fun just getting into the spirit.
You mentioned some of my favorite Christmas movies. Black Christmas is probably my favorite Christmas horror film. Probably in my top 5 horror films, honestly.
Easily.
But Gremlins is the movie that I give people who are like, let's watch something fun and warm-hearted for Christmas. I'm like, okay, we can watch Gremlins.
The movie terrified.
Mine is Christmas Evil.
Ooh, that one's
Christmas Evil is so good. That's John Waters' favorite movie, I
It's
heard.
the most heartwarming Christmas movie ever made, for my mind. But The Thin Man is also like a huge favorite of mine around the holidays too. It's so special. You need to have like 3 martinis lined up for that movie.
I know.
It's so delightful.
Sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, oh, they're alcoholics and like this is really fun and charming, but I'm like...
But they're fun alcoholics.
They're pulling it.
There's a difference.
Listen,
they're pulling it off.
I'm a man many years in recovery. I've spent my whole adult life in and out of recovery, and I say it's fine. And as I speak for all alcoholics, you have a green light. How did your screening of Black Christmas go?
So, wow. It was like, we had over 100 people, and so we've been talking about making it an annual thing. It was such a good showing, and we've been talking a lot about the film and its influence on Halloween, and it's one of my favorite horror films, period, too, because it's just, I don't know, it's
terrifying.
It is, and I think it's really funny that it's Bob Clark, who also did A Christmas Story.
Yeah,
and
totally.
who also did She-Man, A Story of Fixation.
Oh.
Yeah, I still need to see that.
Transploitation classic.
He made a trans film.
And Porky's.
His first film was a trans exploitation film. And Porky's.
And
Super Babies, Baby Geniuses.
What a career.
Yeah.
I finally got to see Black Christmas on the big screen at, I think, the New Beverly last year. And I was a little bit worried because we've talked about this on the show before, where if you go see a movie that you love with a repertory audience, sometimes they can be like hipstery about it and kind of laugh through it. But at this screening, for the last 20 minutes or so, you could have heard a pin drop because people were so fucking scared. And I was like, oh, this could not have gone any better.
Yeah.
My first experience with Black Christmas was in theaters. I saw it in Chicago at the Portage Theater on 35 millimeter. I'd never seen it before. I'd only heard about it. and it terrified the ever-loving fuck out of me, and it has not changed.
It's scary. I mean, there's a lot of funny lines, like Margot Kidder's hilarious in it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But the last 20 minutes, like you said, I mean, I've seen it several times, but when I watched it, in the theater, when he's like jiggling the door trying to get through, and like this creepy voices, I was like, ooh, I feel very uncomfortable. I haven't felt like this in a while.
Those phone calls make my skin crawl as well. I mean, they're awful.
Yeah.
And now that it's been restored, when I saw it at my friend Michael's house recently, I saw things. I've seen this movie 10 times probably. And in the restoration, I saw things that I'd never seen before. Like, there's a part where she's on the phone with her boyfriend where you can see the shadow of the killer on the wall behind her. I noticed a detail in Mrs. Mac's room that's like an old vaudeville poster of her and her sister as children. So she really is like the queen of vaudeville, as they say. So it was just so cool to see it restored and looking so beautiful.
And the mix,
neat little details.
Like hearing the phone calls in that 5.1 was like, fuck.
Yeah, those are really scary phone calls. I love that movie so much.
It's incredible.
I'm going to watch it next week at my friend Michael's house again. We do it every year.
Nice.
It's a tradition.
And I watched 2006 last night and baked a quiche, and it was really fun, even though
that sounds
it's
cute.
so trashy, but it's really enjoyable.
Yeah,
that
is a very
so Christmassy. Like, it's really pretty. Like, there's so many lights, so many colors, and there's all these all the tacky decorations, and just a bunch of super bitchy women.
For very much of that era where it's disgustingly violent and mean-spirited. All the characters are detestable. But it's fun. It's fun enough. I don't know if I'll be rewatching that one. I still see it in the theater. I haven't seen
Black Xmas. I haven't seen the 2006 one. Maybe one day. I'll get around to it.
Is Black Xmas the 2018 one, though?
No, Black Xmas is the 2006 one. The 2018 one is just Black Christmas again.
So, yeah.
Got it.
I didn't care for it. It felt very rushed.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
And it was very rushed. Yeah. I mean,
it was.
It kind of feels like a live action Saturday morning cartoon version of it. Like, it was very kind of like goofy in a way that I was like, I could see it being fun in that way, but
Well, I adore April Wolf, who wrote it, and for that reason, I didn't see it because I don't know. I kind of felt like I wouldn't like it, and then I didn't want to not like a movie that was written by someone who I think is so cool. And people were being truly awful to her on the internet.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being a woman on the internet, I'm sure you both know, is not the easiest thing. I've come to understand. How are you, Drusilla? What's going on?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm feeling better every day, so that's super nice and fun. I'm really enjoying the nice crisp weather we're starting to get in LA at fucking last. It is starting to feel like cozy home times. And I've been watching a crap ton of really good movies. Like, I've been getting back into my dumb art house movie watching a lot of Aki Kaurismäki and Luis Bunuel movies. I've rewatched his Wuthering Heights recently, which is one of the most gorgeous, insane movies ever made. But this is as much an art house podcast as it is a horror podcast, and we're talking about Christmas movies. So I should quickly transition out of the subtitles and into how I saw Violent Night starring David Harbour a few days ago. One of the trashiest movies I've seen in theaters this year. I had such a fun time with it. A friend and I went to it, and we got a little high beforehand, which was the correct move. And we saw it in a Dolby Cinema and really big surround sound, gorgeous seats. And everyone in the audience was just there to have a really fucking fun time. And it was everything that you would hope it would be. It is Home Alone by way of Miracle on 34th Street and Die Hard. And every 5 minutes, David Harbour finds his exact perfect light, looks into the camera, and says a quippy little Christmas line, and then kills 10 people. It makes, like, my childhood fantasies of a snowblower finally come true in the most, like, deviant, fucked up way, and I was very pleased by that.
It looks like someone I can't remember who just rewatched the movie Scrooged, which I love, of course.
Scrooged.
And part of his Bill Murray plays a cynical, awful cable programming director, and he has programmed a Christmas movie where Santa gets revenge Rambo style, and it made me realize oh, we have that now, and it's Violent Night. It came to pass.
Well, there's also the Tim Robinson I Think You Should Leave sketch about Santa Claus, the actual person, going to star in a violent cop movie that has nothing to do with Christmas. And it felt a lot like that too. It's really fun. I had a hoot.
I think
it's a good way to shut off your
really
brain
hot.
and just watch some splatter, because it was written by and directed by people who are very familiar with the horror genre. So as much as it is an action movie, it has some intensely gory kills and creative kills that were just a very delight to see set to Christmas music.
I want to go see that. My boyfriend will not see that, so I brought up the subject, and he was like, and so I might have to take a friend or something. But
I know you have friends that will want to see that. It's a very good time. See it at 2:00 on a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah. I know a lot of people find David Harbour to be really sexy, and I wasn't one of them until this movie. I was like,
agreed.
Oh, really?
You know what?
Yeah.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, I never found him sexy in Stranger Things, but as soon as he's wearing a leather-clad Santa outfit and a little drunk, a little exhausted, and then going for it,
yeah, I
give that man a
watch
hammer any day.
I didn't really watch Stranger Things, but as I've talked about on the podcast before, I'm a big fan of watching home tours on YouTube, fancy people's house tours. And there's one of his loft apartment in Soho, which is very masculine with a crazy amount of potted plants and woodworking. And he was really hot in it. And I was like, he's a hot kind of homophobic shop teacher that you would fantasize about in school, but he would be really mean to you. That's
Josh,
the vibe.
This is too specific of an example. I think there might be some history to talk about with your therapist soon.
I have a little masochistic streak where I maybe I like people who are mean to me too much. But anyways, yes, he's hot. I agree. I rewatched The Shining, which I know is art house horror 101, but I hadn't seen it in many years, and it was my boyfriend's suggestion. He was
God, you rewatched Mick Garris's TV miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's The Shining?
That's
from 2003?
Get out of here. No. But he was like, how long is it? And I was I think it's normal length, knowing full well that it's 2.5 hours long.
I mean, today, that's pretty typical.
It's true. It's true. This is obvious, but what a banger of a movie. It's so beautiful and scary and perfect, and Shelley Duvall is amazing in it, and just loved it.
Have I ever mentioned my weird holiday tradition with The Shining on this podcast yet?
I don't think so.
Because it's fucking insane. Okay, so I grew up in Indiana, as listeners may know, and as listeners may also know, there's not really that many Thanksgiving movies. There's a handful, but not a ton, and there's only been more recently. So when I grew up, every year on Thanksgiving, we would have people over. They'd put on the football game. They'd put on the parade and all that kind of stuff. People would have dinner at 4:00, and then have pie and alcohol and hang out as the kids played board games in the basement and stuff. And then at night, they would always play the exact same two movies back to back after dinner as everyone was falling asleep on the couch. And it was always The Shining and Miracle on 34th Street from 1936. And the reason behind that was that whatever local TV station in Indiana would play that in the 80s and 90s when my mom was growing up. And so when I was growing up in the 90s and 2000s, it was just okay, we have these on tape. We've got these on DVD. That's Thanksgiving night. We're just going to keep doing that because we'll play a Halloween and we'll play a Christmas because we can't find a Thanksgiving. And they're both snowy and cozy enough. So every single year, I watched The Shining with my entire family until I was 18 or 19. And it's a great film, but I'm kind of sick of it.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's when I was a little kid, when I was very little, before everyone really had cable and VHS tapes and stuff. That's why Wizard of Oz became a hit movie, is because for decades it played every year on Thanksgiving, and you only had 4 channels, and so everyone would just watch Wizard of Oz on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. Yeah.
And It's a Wonderful Life. And you know what? We got 2 fucking bangers out of that. So they're incredible.
Yeah. Shelley Duvall is in a new movie. I feel weird about that.
She is. I'm glad she's in it. I love her. I think she
horror too, right?
It's a horror movie. It's a werewolf movie of some sort. I'm glad about it if it is good, because I know that she's not well. I mean, she has schizophrenia. So as long as it's not like a...
She's been doing well. I have friends who live in Texas who know her.
Okay.
So friends of mine who ran a t-shirt company a few years ago did Shelley Duvall t-shirts of like her screen credit from Three Women and some other Altman movies. And all the proceeds were going to support Shelley Duvall. And so they had a friend take over the money, like literally in cash, to Shelley Duvall's like little house in Texas. They got tacos together. They watched Three Women, and they just hung out, and like people in the little town she lives in like check in on her and take care of her. And like she's doing well. Like,
yeah, good. I'm glad, because I saw that horrible Dr. Phil interview, which was so exploitative, and it just made me worry about her a lot. And I love her. I mean, she's so fabulous, and God, those 70s movies that she did are just so unbeatable, and just love her to death. Shall we talk about the film of the day? This is a movie from 1960, directed by John Llewellyn Moxey. It is City of the Dead.
Wait, I thought...
Yay, I love this. Wait,
I thought we were watching Horror Hotel.
Wait a minute. Horror Hotel and City of the Dead are the same
Don't try to trick
movie.
us, Kay. Yes, also known as Horror Hotel here in the United States upon its release. Kay, this was your pick. What's your history with this? Why'd you pick it? I assume it has something to do with Salem, but maybe not. Guide us.
Well, so I think I picked it up on like a blind buy from Arrow when I just kind of bought a bunch at once and watched it relive. I had no idea that it was like kind of like a Salem movie. And actually, I didn't pick it for this episode because I was posting about it, and you had mentioned that like, oh, we want to get to that film. So I kind of forgot it was like a Salem movie. And so when I rewatched it again, I was like, oh, fuck, that's right. I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm like a Salem ambassador for this film now. Okay.
You are. You really are.
And it's
Mayor of Salem.
Yes. And it's, and from that lens, it's really interesting. You know, obviously there were, quote, witch trials here in Salem. And this is a fictional town, or as they call city, of like 14 people.
Yeah, 14 extras.
Right. But something that people may not know is that there were actually, before the 1692 trials in Salem, there were 10 people executed in Connecticut, like a few decades earlier. So, it's not... Whitewood is this kind of like amorphous city that has a lot of overlap, but it's a very spooky town.
Yeah. I guess I'll just give like a pretty brief synopsis of this. We open in the 1600s when the townspeople of Whitewood are executing a witch named, an alleged witch named Elizabeth Selwyn, and we think it's the sort of thing where they're killing an innocent woman, as they did in real life. But it turns out when she gets to the stake, she really is a witch, and she places a curse on the town. And we flash forward to, to 1960, when Christopher Lee is giving a lecture at his college where he works as a history professor.
Witch, burn the witch!
Exactly. It's fabulous. And One of his students is a young, beautiful blonde named Nan who wants to go to the town of Whitewood and study witchcraft and get to the bottom of all this. Like, maybe she can discover something that hasn't discovered before. So she goes to the creepy town of Whitewood, and then horror ensues. And that's kind of like the log line of the movie, I would say. Mm-hmm. Anything else to amend or change?
Other than Nan has some fucking bitching lingerie.
She really does.
And the fact that this movie came out in 1960 and has a lot of narrative elements shared with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Yes.
To not give anything away too much if you haven't seen this movie that's almost 70 years old.
Yeah, we can spoil this. I think it's fine.
It's also public domain, so there's no excuse.
It is public domain, so go watch it. It's everywhere. This movie's fucking incredible. I'm a huge fan of it.
Good. Yeah,
I was so excited when you picked this one, Kay. This was one that like felt like it came out of nowhere for me when I first watched it because it has such like it's somewhere in between like The Wicker Man and Carnival of Souls in terms of like tone, style, and execution, and I love it so much. And I had to do like research into the people who made it, and it made me only happier and felt more like, oh yeah, this is for me. John Llewellyn Moxey didn't direct a ton more movies after this, but he did return to cozy, spooky East Coast vibes by directing the lion's share of the episodes of Murder, She Wrote in the 1980s. And the screenplay for this movie was written by George Baxt, a queer author and screenwriter who wrote another great witch movie called Burn, Witch, Burn, but more importantly, wrote my entire favorite series of books of all time, the gay, fair love, queer kind of death murder mystery books, which I'm a gigantic fan of. So when his name popped up in the credits the first time I saw this, I was like, whoa, that pulp author that only I know about? What the fuck?
Yeah, and somehow, I mean, I read when I was looking at the Wikipedia for this is by Vulcan Films, which who knows who they are, but somehow it kind of is the first Amicus film based on who worked on it without being an Amicus film, really. And if you don't know, listeners, Amicus is like Hammer, sort of, is my understanding. Like, if Hammer is Blumhouse, Amicus is Neon, or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like one of those other British studios making low-budget horror
They
films.
specialize in omnibus films of, like, you know, Tales in the Crypt and those kinds of movies. But they also made one of the best werewolf movies ever made.
Yes, which we've talked about on the show. It's interesting in that... Sorry.
Oh, no, I just want to say with that was sort of like trying to... I don't know if you call it a rivalry, but like the contrast of Amicus and Hammer. I think about the contrast between Universal Horror and RKO on Val Lewton's run, because Hammer was a lot more gothic and period piece, and Amicus kind of brought those elements to the present day, similar how Lewton did, in a big part because it's cheaper to make films that take place in the present day.
Yeah.
Well, and the Hammer and the Universal ones are more universally well known. They're dealing with the more famous characters, the Frankensteins, the Draculas, the mummies. And because they had no money and were more creative, the Amicus and RKO ones were like, we're just gonna do this thing. Yeah. It's gonna be spooky. And show the fuck up. And they're not as well known, but they're if not as good, if not better.
And they poached.
Okay, we did Cat People last week, which I know is like one of your favorite movies. It hasn't aired yet, but we recorded it. Yeah.
And both.
So we talked all about them.
Both companies would poach the top talent too. So like Lewton would go after Karloff, and Lugosi, Amicus went after Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing.
Yeah. And actually, since you brought up Boris Karloff, this was actually intended to be a 1 hour long TV movie with the hopes of getting Boris Karloff. And then for whatever reason, they lengthened the script and it ended up being a feature film instead. But
I'm actually really glad
that TV influence.
They did, because it doesn't feel like a TV movie in any way, shape, or form. The style and execution of this movie is phenomenal. The fog budget alone.
you can't see the ground. With that
Whenever they're
budget.
Outside in Whitewood, there's no ground. It's just fog. Every fucking scene.
Mean,
it's beautiful.
This movie is very well made and very well crafted and filmed. I do think there's a TV feel too. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Dark Shadows, honestly, which is a great show, but there is like a melodrama to this, you know, because whenever you're dealing with gothic settings, there's this sort of melodrama. So I do think that there's like a little bit of a TV-ish element.
The acting isn't so great.
No, the acting. So that's another thing. Like, this is an interesting movie when you're talking about folk horror, because if you've seen Kiera Janice's fabulous folk horror documentary, you know that there's like a British lineage of folk horror and an American lineage of folk horror, and this is British people doing the American lineage. So all of the actors are British and doing American accents to varying degrees of success, I would say. And I don't know, it's just an interesting thing because they have such a strong folk horror tradition of their own over there. So it's interesting to watch them do like American folk horror, which is always about, you know, the Puritans in some way and women who are in league with the devil and are secretly witches, versus their folk horror, which is always about people who are secretly still pagans. Yeah.
And it's interesting because, well, all of their knowledge about America came from magazines. No one involved with the production had actually been to America. So I think that might explain like the lingerie that she's wearing. I'm like, I don't know who she was expecting to show that off to in Whitewood. But,
that she's wearing underneath her like casual nightgown. She's doing like her homework and research it, and then she keeps on to put on a nice little skirt to go dancing in.
Yeah, I mean, good for her.
Who is this for?
But also the sort of conversation between the witch folklore, well, the witch history and the folklore between Europe and the US, because there's this myth that is so prevalent, and everyone in Salem is forever saying, we didn't burn anyone here. No one got burned at this stake.
Right. They were hanged.
And so it's like this, I don't know, this really interesting carryover. And I did listen to the commentary with the director, and he genuinely believed that they were burned here. So I was like, oh, we have a lot of work to do.
Where does that come from? Is that a Hollywood trope? I mean, did Hollywood give us that idea? Or is it older from literature, maybe? I just truly don't know where that came from.
Well,
maybe they burned people in Europe.
They did. And a lot more of them. There were like between 40 and 60,000 people were killed at the stake in Europe. And we had 40 people hung for witchcraft.
I know.
Right. But of course, we've had a lot of lynchings in America. And one of my sort of theories is that, you know, this was kind of conceived from the 50s and there were still a lot of lynchings. And I was wondering maybe that they thought rather than portraying more lynchings, they were like, maybe burning is more palatable, or there could be even a more racist reason for that. But I don't know. I just thought it's so prevalent. The Hocus Pocus got it right.
It is interesting how much the world focuses on the history of Salem in this regard, because the truth is, killing witches was huge in Europe for centuries, all across Europe. And so its relative history in America is quite small compared to how big it was in Europe. So I don't know if it's maybe just us in America that focus on Salem so much, but it feels like because we control so much media, it feels like the world has a focus on Salem when it comes to killing witches, even though Europe did this so much more than we did.
Mm-hmm. And it was so early in our country's history that I think it was just became like this cultural touchstone, because I think Salem's like the second founded city in America.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought up lynching. It made me think of when I worked on Sabrina in the first season, the witch that's meanest to Sabrina is this witch named Prudence, who the actress is Black. And Sabrina, to get revenge on them after this episode about like some witch trials from the past, has like a phantom noose hang her and her friends like the witches were hanged in the witch trials, which they've been talking about all episode. But people got really upset because here we were like lynching a Black woman essentially. And it's just one of those things where it's like nobody thought about it in that lens, but probably should have. and it really upset people, and it was a thing that we like had to talk about in the writer's room and really wring our hands about and give some deep thought into it. It's like, I don't know. When you brought up that connection, it made me remember that, which I haven't thought about in a long time.
That's really interesting. I'd like to see that, because I think it's something that should be talked about more, because of that obsession we have about Salem. It's like, okay, that was 20 people who were, I mean, one was pressed. A man was pressed with a rock. But 19 people were hung. And between 4,000 and 5,000 Black people were lynched. And there's more, I think there's more conversation about what happened in Salem.
Yeah. Drusilla brought up a structural note, which is really interesting. This does have the structure of Psycho, or a less, I don't know, hoity-toity example is Death Proof was one that I thought of, where...
Oh my God.
A movie I love. I don't think we've ever talked about it on the show. But you're following a character or a set of characters that are then dispatched dead center in the movie, and you're following new people who are then trying to explore or investigate the previous people. It's such an interesting structure. It's not done very often. The most famous example is Psycho, which would come later. So, I mean, there is a have you seen it game where it's like, has Alfred Hitchcock seen
Well, this and Psycho came out the same year.
Oh, did they? I thought Psycho was 64 in my head, but you're right.
But City of the Dead was first, but they were released the same year, but City of the Dead was released before.
So it's probably really unlikely that Alfred Hitchcock had time. And Psycho is based on a novel, too, so there's that.
But that structure isn't part of the novel. The novel is totally different.
Really?
The structure they built for the screenplay is very, like, they did their own thing. Which is Hitchcock was wont to do at the time. So I don't think there's any way, shape, and form that Hitchcock would have seen this movie, but it's very funny that culturally we see Psycho as being the thing that invented that trope, despite the fact that, well, no, this movie was made before and came out the same year, but also, like, it had been done before that, too.
I'm sure.
It's just very interesting to see it happen at the same time as this. I also want to give a shout out to one of my favorite horror tropes of all time that we talked about previously in Messiah of Evil, which is you gotta have your gas station attendant be a portent
gas station warning. I love a gas station warning.
I love how every single time someone drives up to this gas station attendant in this movie and they're like, "Can you show me how to get to Whitewood?" He's like, Whitewood? Nobody be going to Whitewood these days. And you're like, 3 people just asked you the directions to Whitewood, sir.
I know.
So they are.
Yeah, there's like a segment later in the movie where like 3 people in a row ask him for directions, and it plays like a comedy beat.
It does feel like a Scooby-Doo bit. We're like,
yeah. I also love every time you have one of these gas station warnings, the directions are always like, go to the sign that says Whitewood and then take a left because the arrow is pointing left. It's always like obvious directions that they probably wouldn't need. I love a gas station warning. At least this guy doesn't die like they usually do.
No, but he's right. He's fucking right. Yeah. This movie also has one of my other favorite tropes, which is the blind priest, whom I love so much. And it's not made explicit that he's blind until like 40 minutes into the movie, and you've already had a scene with him, so you can't, at first you're like, is this an odd performance choice?
Yeah, I was like, why isn't he looking at her?
Bad acting? What's with the eye? And then you're like, oh, he's blind. Got it. Okay, lovely. Who also does one of my favorite things, which is tell the person to get out and get away and don't trust the people, and then as he steps back away from them, just straight back into shadow.
Into shadow.
I was never
That's
here.
how I want to enter. That's how I want to enter and exit every conversation. It's just to like back
on
into
the Z-axis only.
Doesn't matter if it's broad daylight in a city park or whatever.
And this film is all about the shadows, like, and the dark contrast.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's, again, going back to
the like chiaroscuro shadows that they do in the hotel to signify the like flames of the fireplace are so stylish, so over the top, and so gorgeous. I also like how this movie does a very good job of like laying out the rules of the witchcraft, which like We can get into the realism of that later.
Yeah.
I'll ask you about that, Josh. But they do a pretty good job of being like, yeah, I looked in this book and it said that on this day they will find a stranger and they will take a possession from her and they will replace it with a bird and some twigs and then the girl will be sacrificed. And immediately after saying this, the girl's like, by the way, my locket's missing. Has anyone seen my locket? Oh, hey, today's that day.
Yeah.
What a weird coincidence. And you're like,
I mean, I'm using air quotes, mystery of this is not much of a mystery. I mean, you know at every step what's happening, and it's pretty 101 on that level. And that's what I kind of meant when you were talking about your favorite trope. One of my favorite tropes that's in this is like a spectral hitchhiker who disappears when you get to the destination. I mean, this movie is full of that. It's so classic, so old-timey in a fun, like, Scooby-Doo way. Like, everything about this is like a totem-like trope from classic horror, and it's like delicious in that way. It has the Carnival of Souls thing where, you know, people are walking around town, which you can't see the ground because there's so much fog, and there's just like menacing townspeople who are just standing in tableau everywhere for no reason. And you even get the same tableau over and over and over again.
Well, it's like last year at Marienbad. You just turn around and there's like 3 people like standing there and they don't move, and it's just like, oh, okay. Yep, got it, cool. Gonna go to this other building really fast. Gonna go leave.
You kind of get the sense, and I don't know if this is just me bringing this to the movie and adding levels of sophistication that aren't there, but it almost gives the sense that the townspeople are like ghosts who are trapped in a loop. Because you literally do get the same tableau of extras in the town, like over and over and over again.
And
no, it
Elizabeth
repeats visual images and themes consistently. There's even, like, like, cutaway shots that are just, like, quick establishing shots that are some of the most gorgeous shit that I've ever seen in my entire life. There's a quick cut out of a scene and then into another scene, but before we get there, we just get a quick shot of the exterior of the hotel with, like, a big cross from the cemetery in the foreground at a canted angle and, like, fog floating over and, like, a candle flicking in the window. And you get that for, like, you know, maybe like 10, 15 frames, and then they're like, okay, onto the scene. It's like, that was so gorgeous. Yeah. So much time was spent on making that one shot as pretty as you could make it. And it's like, all right, fuck it, move on.
There's some cool, like, practical camera work here, to camera effects, like the spectral ghost, you know, each time he's in the car, the camera, like, comes in through the passenger side window to get close on the driver who's, like, talking to the ghost, and then just backs out, and then the actor is gone. So, like, just really simple, old-fashioned camera tricks that are really effective. I have to say, there are moments in this movie that I think are genuinely creepy that actually do affect me. It's not, there is a camp element because of what the movie is doing and how classic all the tropes are, and it's black and white, and it's from 1960. So there is that, but it's actually also a successful movie. It is creepy in moments.
And the villainess, Elizabeth Selwyn, I adore her. She has that kind of like
adore diva performance.
She's just like, so fuck you, I'm coming back for all your asses.
Severe middle-aged actress who's wonderful. She plays the witch in the flashback and the innkeeper in the present. I'm trying to look up her name really quick. Patricia Jessel is her name. Great performance. It's like, who's the housekeeper in Rebecca?
Mrs. Danvers.
Yes, Mrs. Danvers kind of vibe from her.
Danny. Yeah, she's one of my favorite characters in Rebecca. And one of my favorite scenes in City of the Dead, and one of my favorite examples of her incredible performance in this movie, is our main character, for the time being, Nan, is sitting on her bed, and she's flipping through her book of witch and satanic lore, and the housekeeper, she comes in and she's like, you need to get out of your room. They're here to see you. And she's like, I'm just doing my research. I'll come out in a minute. It's something you would never understand about. You wouldn't know anything about the witches, and you live here. How silly. You don't know shit about this. I'll bet you've never heard of a witch. And she just like, the like contained fury on her face is so impressive and so wonderful. And when she finally stabs her sacrificially, it is a little sweet, a little earned, a little delightful.
She's enjoying it too. She loves to sacrifice people. She's like smiling both times she does it.
She's got that hood and that beautiful, beautiful sacrificial dagger. Oh my god.
She's like
it's like a mood.
Nan is her spider in a jar. She's just like, oh, laugh it up.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, we've hinted around it. Nan is to be one of 2 sacrifices that this coven, which is, she tells us very clearly in expository dialogue, a coven is 13.
A coven means 13.
Some men, some women, she lays out. So she's to be one of 2 sacrifices that must be done. One on Candlemas Eve, which I looked up,
13th hour.
and the other on the 13th hour.
I've never heard a clock strike 13.
And the other one is the Witch's Sabbath, which, according to this movie, is like a week later.
A month. Because Candlemas is February 2nd, and then the Witch's Sabbath is March 3rd.
Yeah, I looked up Candlemas because I didn't know what that was. And if, listener, you don't know what that is, it's the day when all Christmas decorations have to be out of sight, put away, because otherwise it's bad luck and someone in your congregation will die.
Oh, that's actually a thing. Good.
Yeah.
We should make that long.
Yeah. I think that's late in the... I mean, if your shit is still up by February 2nd, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's pretty generous.
I celebrate Christmas. I know other people don't, but Christmas is over, like, midday. I want everything out of my house. I mean, I don't actually take everything out of my house, but when Christmas is done, it is done. Like, it feels bad on the 26th.
Really? Not even New Year's?
Certainly by January.
I feel like New Year's is...
I mean, I'm too lazy to do it on the 26th, so usually it happens in early January, but there's a certain point where I'm like, I have a rash from having this shit still in my house. Like, get this stuff out of my sight. And I love Christmas, so I don't know what it is. It's like, I'm done. When Christmas is done, I'm done. You know, like, I'm like allergic to Christmas shit the moment it's over.
I mean, you are the Grinch and Edie is Max, so this is true.
But not at all. I'm a Christmas gay. I fucking love it. I listen to Christmas music from the moment October is done to Christmas.
Oh, that's upsetting. That's the scariest thing we discussed on this episode. I'm
what,
like,
loving Christmas music?
Listening to Christmas music starting on November 1st is like...
No, that's usually, I'm lying. Usually I wait till Thanksgiving is over.
I don't listen to Christmas music on my own volition. I hear it enough, like, out and about doing my holiday shopping and just existing in the world that it does not need to enter my home.
I adore Christmas music, but only vintage Christmas music. Only 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Like Julie London.
With some exceptions.
Has some really,
yeah. I think Judy Garland's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is one of the prettiest songs ever. I hear 2 notes of it and I burst into tears because it's like the saddest song.
Well, it brings me the scene in Meet Me in St. Louis every single time, and I just lose it.
So beautiful. What a sad song. Gorgeous, though.
Mm-hmm.
And it really nails like how Christmas is... What I love about Christmas is that it is a sad holiday. It's happy and sad at the same time, which is like... really special, I think. It makes you miss people. It makes you think about the past. It makes you look back on your year, but also it gives you a lot of hope and warmth. And it's beautiful.
I mean, there's a reason why in England there's a tradition of Christmas ghost movies and folk horror around Christmas. Yeah. Like, it's beautiful. Totally. It's necessary. Speaking of the history of Candlemas, Josh, as a resident witch, to what degree is the witchcraft accurate in this film?
Well, here's the thing. So witches always get very sensitive about this sort of stuff because they're like, we don't worship the devil, which is normally true. But in fact, there are witches who do worship the devil. It's unavoidable. This is mostly made up, except that, I mean, to my knowledge, except that, you know, if you were going to cast a spell on someone's behalf or cast a curse on them or something like that, you would often, in most traditions, you would take like an item of theirs. And, you know, like, so those things are true. You also use plants, of course. The thing about witchcraft is that like, it isn't one thing. Like people, even if they have positive associations with it, will think of Wicca, but that's relatively small and new. There are witchcraft traditions from every country on Earth. So being a witch can mean any number of things.
Which is part of that drama.
Yeah,
which is part of that drama that you mentioned of, is the different sects.
Yes. The Wiccans really feel like that they run the game. That they run the game. You know what I mean? Like they're they're like the Regina George of the witchcraft world. But Wicca's fallen out of favor in the last 10 or 15 years too, and people are practicing like what they call traditional witchcraft, which is a version of what this is, which is like where you look back to family lineages and practicing more regional family inherited practices. Yeah.
And it's interesting that what's his name? George Banks, the screenwriter, because I watched Night of the Eagle or Burn Witch Burn, and I was like, oh my God, this is very similar, because it has the dynamic of like the student and the professor, and whether the balance, the contrast of superstition and belief and science. And it was the same screenwriter, and it's very much about the same thing, about these little totems that the housewife has throughout the house. So I'm very I wonder if...
I mean, they even chant the title "Burn Witch Burn" in City of the Dead. Like,
yeah.
Was George Banks queer? Do we know this?
Yes, he was queer. And his series of books, the A Queer Kind of Love series, featuring gay black 60s detective Pharaoh love, are some of the best books you could ever possibly read.
I want to read them.
I have them all. I love them so much. They are literally 60s queer pulp murder mystery paperbacks.
That sounds so fun.
They're so fucking good. They're really hard to find. I found them like by happenstance at a few bookstores, and I was like, yes, please.
You lent me one of those when I was quarantining.
Yeah,
right?
I inadvertently
I
left you one of those and Burn Witch Burn. Not even thinking that they were both George Banks.
Yeah, I did read that book when I was really sick, so I kind of like remembered in a fever dream, but I loved it.
I've wanted to adapt it for a very long time because it's got some very fun twists in it, and it's not written from the detective's perspective. It's more from a narrative perspective, more similar to something like Knives Out, where like the detective is like a very omnipresent force who's kind of coming in and out of every scene, but it's from the perspective of one of the suspects.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a delight. And the sequels are super, super, super fun.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. George Baxt, good dude, great writer. And yeah, like he only wrote a handful of movies, and they're all horror movies. But all of his writing is like explicitly queer, like bohemian pulp stuff. He was like very, very, very steeped in genre, which is why it's no surprise to me that a movie like City of the Dead and Burn Witch Burn are so steeped in the like classic tropes of the genres, because he was incredibly cinelliterate. The second book of the Pharaoh Love series is the only example I've ever found of a book being a part of the hagsploitation subgenre of the 1960s. It is very much a like post Baby Jane, like obsessed with 1930s cinema and about former actresses losing it. So he's incredibly cinelliterate and knows what he's doing with a lot of these genre tropes. And it reads like to the back room in City of the Dead in the most beautiful way.
Anything else to say about this movie before we move on to have they seen it?
I just wanted to say that when it was released in the US as Horror Hotel, they did not include Elizabeth Selwyn's like condemnation and curse at the beginning, which is the best part.
It's the best part. So that's the reveal that's how we know that she is a witch and she's just not like a Salem style innocent woman that's being persecuted. And it's so good. Kay, do you have that text in front of you?
Yeah, the way I have it is like these are the lines were deleted, so I don't, or like removed. So I don't know if it's the thing in full.
Read it. Let's read it.
I have made a pact with thee, O Lucifer, Hear me, I will do thy bidding for all eternity. For all eternity shall I practice the ritual of Black Mass. For all eternity shall I sacrifice unto thee. I give thee my soul. Take me into thy service. O Lucifer, listen to thy servant. Grant her this pact for all eternity, and I with her. And if we fail thee but once, you may do with our souls what you will. And then, okay, this is the best part. Make this city an example of thy vengeance. Curse it for all eternity. Let me be the instrument of thy curse. Hear me, O Lucifer, hear me.
So listeners, if you ever find yourself tied to a flaming stake, this is your way out.
Oh, I have...
Just memorize that.
I fantasized about saying this to some people.
I love the idea of cursing people. I watched this show on HBO ages ago called Rome, which I liked very much, but there are two women, aristocrat women who hated each other. And I guess I learned through this show that you would curse people in ancient Rome by starting with their toes and working your way up their body. So it would be like, may your toes be eaten by worms. May your ankles be gnawed off by a wolf. Like literally every body part. And it's just like so sad.
Oh my God. I only have one final comment to say about City of the Dead, which is just entirely a random little bit of subjective. I could not get this out of my head the entire time watching it, which is that Pat, the bookseller, who is kind of our other female character to potentially be sacrificed, who's played by Betta St. John, looks exactly like Kristen Wiig, and it was sending me the entire film. It was upsetting me so much.
Her American accent is the worst in the bunch. Yes, it is. But since you said that, the mute housekeeper Lottie looks a lot like that British actress Emily
Mortimer.
Yes. Maybe.
No.
Yeah. There's one of the Emilys. There's a couple of British Emilys, and she's one of them. Yeah.
It's a very spooky thing to see in a movie. You're like, oh, is that someone time traveling 60 years? Okay, cool.
I mean, they're descendants.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So let's pivot to Have They Seen It, the game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I'll go first. This is a person who is also a horror legend of this same stripe. I want to know, do you think Vincent Price has seen City of the Dead?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like if he didn't see this around the time it came out, I'm sure AIP released Horror Hotel or something like that. I feel like later in his life, David Delval would have showed it to him, and they would have had a little horror party. He would have ate this shit up with a spoon, this man. Oh my God. Christopher Lee would have loved this movie.
Does anyone know if this is officially called City of the Dead now? Is it still Horror Hotel anymore? Or
it is officially City of the Dead now.
Okay, so I don't have to put City of the Dead, aka Horror Hotel, because people.
I don't think anyone calls it Horror Hotel anymore.
No. Great.
Yeah.
It was on TV, because it was in public domain. It got a lot of TV play. So Vincent Price could have seen it by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a lot of the references to this movie are under the Horror Hotel. Like, there's a lot of metal bands and punk bands that have referenced this either by
the Misfits literally have their song Horror Hotel.
Well, Dracula, Rob Zombie's Dracula. The opening of that song is Christopher Lee from this film.
Superstition, fear, and jealousy. Mm-hmm. It freaked me out the first time I saw this movie. I was like, holy shit, whoa. Wait, I paused it and I had to play Dracula, and then I had to play the movie and I had to play Dracula, and I was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
That's what I hear when she reveals her lingerie. It's like, here we go. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. If someone would like to cut a fan cam of this movie to Dracula, please send it to us.
I had a weird thing happen last night when I watched it, because I watched it on Shudder, and the music over the lynching or the hanging or the burning, I should say, in the beginning was the music that I recognized, and I was like, why is this the music from Psychomania, which is a movie I know like every frame of?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, did they borrow the music? They can't, because this movie's older than Psychomania. And then somehow the app was playing the soundtrack of Psychomania over top of this movie until I stopped the app and restarted it. It was like such a weird glitch, but it actually worked. It was really cool, the theme of Psychomania. Yeah, it was just a weird
That's what I used to do in college all the time. I get really stoned and try to find different songs to play over like my favorite movies or cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Drusilla, do you have anyone?
I mean, since this movie is so heavily about witchcraft and American witchcraft and was written by a wonderful gay screenwriter, it made me think about the incredible gay men in Hollywood who make movies about witchcraft and who practice witchcraft themselves, who are still alive this day, maybe for making a curse to commit themselves to Satan and to Lucifer. Do we know if Lucifer Rising filmmaker Kenneth Anger has seen City of the Dead?
Ooh. Oh my god. Kenneth Anger is still alive?
Kenneth Anger is still alive. Be on the lookout, Angelinos. Kenneth Anger may be in your bushes. Kenneth Anger is still at large.
Cut this out because I love Kenneth Anger and I don't know why I didn't know that. There was a very expensive like $600 bomber jacket that I wanted that had the Lucifer Rising logo on the back of it, but I didn't buy it. Yeah, I think he's seen this. He's referencing the same sorts of things all the time. My guess is yes. What do you think?
I feel like he dig this. I feel like he's probably definitely seen this. It came out like a long time. It came out like while he was making a lot of his most famous films. And also, again, like it played on TV for years, especially in the 80s and 90s. I feel like he's definitely seen it. I feel like it's either something that he finds super cozy and like charming and delightful, or something he's like, that's not true. That's not accurate. How dare they? But I think
I would love to see his version of, like, I would love to see this exact kind of movie in black and white, but with like a lot of explicit queer sex somehow.
I wish George Baxt and Kenneth Anger had collaborated on a film together. That would have been one of the best goddamn things in the world.
Yeah. Incredible.
Well, not going into the other town. I always think of like she's looking to hook up. Like if she had like a hookup happen, like I mean, she'd have her pick. It's a small town.
Yeah. Kay, did you have anyone in mind?
I was gonna go with Mario Bava because Black Sabbath was released. Black Sunday was released the same year, and it has the very same opening. I mean, this opening is in many films, but it's also, black and white and, has some, I think basically after the first scene, it does go in a different direction, but it's another,
the curse is brought forward 300 years as well.
Yeah. And so I think it's another really interesting one of those coincidences like this, like Psycho or happenstances, because I don't think either of them had seen each other's film at the time, anyone's film at the time.
No.
But, over time, there's these like sort of echoes that just happen.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a zeitgeist, right? Like something is in the air, so people are doing similar things at the same time. I don't think, obviously, I think the similarities are coincidental. I think Mario Bava is referencing this or vice versa. But I think he would have seen this at some point in the 60s. Don't you think, Drusilla?
I don't think he would have.
Really?
I don't know. I feel like I can't see Mario Bava by choice in the 1960s going to see like a drive-in level movie from England. I feel like that's not his bag. I don't know why.
But don't you think Mario Bava was referencing a lot of like Hammer style British horror films? I mean, like,
yeah, he was, but I think that was less because he was going to watch them and more because producers were showing them to him and being like, "What if we did this?" And he was like, "I can do it better."
Yeah.
From my impression of Bava, he's the kind of guy who made a lot of gothic horror movies, but not a guy who watched a lot of gothic horror movies.
Right. I can see that.
From my understanding, he watched more like Hitchcock and like Antonioni and stuff like that, from my understanding.
Well, how about this? Since you brought up Mario Bava and Black Sunday, do we think Barbara Steele has seen this at any point?
Oh, Barbara Steele has absolutely seen this movie. She's also someone who, like, she was in a lot of horror movies, but don't ask her about those. She only wants to talk about Fellini because she was in 8.5. And okay, sure, awesome, good for her. But like, nah, she's definitely seen this. I feel like if Vincent Price has seen this, they saw it together.
I want that movie. That sounds nice.
That's a cute movie.
A cozy night at Mr. Price's with Barbara Steele.
Yeah.
Or them on a road trip to like a sleepy New England town.
That's a cute idea. Anybody have anyone else for have they seen it? Okay.
I'm trying to I mean, like, we know for a fact that Rob Zombie has seen it. We know for a fact that Glenn Danzig has seen it. All of these, like, horror, metal, and punk icons are making references to this movie, both because it's great and both because it's public domain and
it's
very accessible for that exact reason. But there's a lot of other music icons that are a bit more famous at the moment who are purporting themselves to be, in a way, quote-unquote punk rock and quote-unquote fans of this subgenre.
I'm worried.
Whether they're good or not, and whether they fall into those categories or not. So do you think that Colson Baker, a.k.a. Machine Gun Kelly, has seen City of the Dead?
I had a psychic vibe that that's who you're going to say. There's no fucking way that
There's
Machine
no
Gun Kelly
fucking
has
way.
seen this
Machine
movie.
Gun Kelly gives me the vibes of someone who's like, ugh, black and white, ugh.
I was just talking to Machine Gun Kelly about him with former guest BJ Colangelo last night at dinner, and we were like, we both had the same experience of him, which is like, he came into my awareness when he started to date Megan Fox, and I was really invested in that relationship for about 5 minutes. And then something turned south, and I, like, no longer wish them well. I don't know what it is about him, but I really dislike him.
I think that it's more likely that Megan Fox has seen this film than...
Oh, yeah.
For sure. She's smart and cool. And I do wish her well. But I don't even know if they're still together as a couple.
Are we doing a curse right now? Is this happening?
Yeah. Let's all light candles in unison.
I want her to just have a better partner than him. He seems dumb. His music is bad. He just, I don't know. You can't blame a girl for fucking someone younger, but at the same time, it's like, come on.
She could have
better.
anyone.
Yeah, anyone.
She could have anyone. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, and he could have any STD. So, like...
That seems like a good place to end things. Thank you for listening to this episode of Bloodhouse. Please rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BloodhousePod, and you can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. Drusilla, where can people find you these days?
You can find some of my lovely, lovely art over at sisterhidedesign.com. There's going to be some new stuff dropping in the next few months as new things roll out. You can also find me over on Instagram at HideSister and on Letterboxd with a D at the end. What about you, Josh? Where are you at on the interwebs these days? Where are you on Elon Musk's Twitter?
I am still on Elon Musk's Twitter. I'm at Joshua Conkle on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Kay, do you want people to find you anywhere? Some people don't, and you don't have to call yourself out.
Yeah, the Video Coven on Twitter is the only social I have left, and it's looking dicey. But yeah, dicey. But you know, otherwise just salemhorror.com, cinemasalem.com, and both on Instagram is where I'm doing more interesting things.
Yeah. Well, Kay, thank you so much for joining us. It was such a fab episode, and it's so great to meet you in person.
Likewise, thank you. This is really fun.